This is Cutting Down the Nets. It's February 17th, Thursday. Happy birthday, Michael Jordan. A lot of games on the card, lot of games showing roughly a possession of value. It's really going to be a bet stamp day. So I'm seeing a lot of late decisions. I want to have other people weigh in on matchups. There's a lot of stuff that's close, and I don't want to overbet certainly tonight. But there's a couple I may lock in. But I'll highlight all the ones that I think are close, and we'll have to make some good decisions. We went 3-1 tonight. We were Sharif O'Neal putback with the shot clock off, up 17 from going 4-0. So we'll take it 3-1, but almost ran pure. Miraculous effort from the Bulldogs backups. So sitting at 55.6%, and we're going to start to see some of those rough days from last week fall off. So the ship is starting to correct. I want to finish February strong, get it in this 54, 55, 56% that we've seen the other months. That'd be great. So let's get to the Thursday schedule. As always, I'll cover Paddy, which is recent adjusted efficiencies. If Paddy's showing a play, I will project a game using shot qualities adjusted efficiencies. And for reference, there is Bart Torvik and KenPom. These three columns are more season-long data points. I don't want to say exactly how far, just more recent. Let's just say 6 to 15 games. That gets me wide enough spread there. And then the actual line. So if I'm showing at least a possession from recent efficiency to actual line, that math is calculated over here. So anything more than a possession I look into. And if it's close, I likely put some notes in on the game. You'll see some that are grayed out where the line was nowhere near where I thought it was. I typically do this pretty early in the morning the day before. So I'm usually like a day ahead. All right. Wazoo, UCLA. I have it at 6. The line's 9.5. Shot quality projects it in beta mode by what I'm doing as around 9. So it's shown as like a slight play on the Wazoo side. But UCLA had some uncharacteristic shooting in the last game from both Johnny Juzang and Jaquez. The matchup itself is kind of meh. Wazoo's pretty three-point reliant. So I've just kind of told myself if we get into double digits, I'll look a little harder. But as of right now, I'm not planning. I introduced a new color. Basically, when shot quality is far different than what Paddy had, it's just a big warning sign to me, and I'll call that out. So in this game, I have North Dakota State using recent efficiencies by 5.3, but shot quality has Oral Roberts by 6. So it's a huge swing there. The spread is right in the middle, sitting that out for sure. If you think back to previous shows, this would be where it'd be like showing Oral Roberts as a 140 shot quality and North Dakota State as like a 235, and it'd be like, hey, watch out. I'm just quantifying that now as an actual point spread. Here's one I do like, Santa Clara at LMU. Rough spot for Santa Clara, though. The Broncos are going to play this game right in between the big San Francisco game, and then upcoming is Gonzaga. There's no real matchup concerns. It's just a sleepy spot. Big perimeter edge for Santa Clara. I have it 8.5. Shot quality has 10.5, and we only have to lay 5 right now. So I would expect that only to go up. But again, the spot, the situation, not ideal. I have Old Dominion by 2. Shot quality has Marshall by 4. The line is -1. So me and shot quality are far different there. That indicates a bit of luck and or regression, so I'll pass on that. This is a tough one. Abilene Christian, Sam Houston State. So shot quality is in line with the actual point spread. I have it 10.5. Again, that's not me like, hey, I'm taking a stand here. I'm going to throw out 10.5. I'm saying if you use their recent offensive and defensive efficiencies, you get 10.5. Here's Abilene Christian's story. They're a pedestrian offense with obscene defensive turnover numbers. They're number 1 in defensive turnover percentage. Sam Houston State, streaky 3-point team. If Abilene Christian doesn't turn you over, its defense is very meh. You see that with a lot of pressing teams. Like, yeah, if you get past that initial wave, it's layups and threes. Sam Houston did win by 2 at Abilene Christian in the first game. Both teams shot well from 3 in that game, but 62 possession game. So this is a big Paddy edge. It's still scary. It's obviously in the pool. I just need to think through that quite a bit more. Washington at USC. I have this closer to 5, shot quality 11, and the line is 10. So don't love that. The Husky offense against Arizona was not the problem. It was the defense. They gave up an insane amount of efficiency to the Wildcats, which happens. That's an elite team. Major concerns on the interior, both offensive and defenses here when you play USC. And yeah, a lot of concerns. Don't know Mobley's status. He was supposed to play the previous game with a mask. They didn't play. It was kind of last minute news. Ultimately didn't matter the way UCLA shot the ball. So monitoring that one. San Diego at Portland. KenPom, the line, Torvik, and shot quality all around 2. I'm more like 5.5, but that's because Portland went 14 out of 20 from 3-point range last game, and that really lifted their profile. This first game went to overtime, so this is not likely a play for me. Nothing wrong with it. It's just not. It's artificial value, I would say. Middle Tennessee, FIU. I have Middle Tennessee by 7. Shot quality as FIU by 1.5. So that indicates some luck or regression. And I'll be careful there and not play that one. Delaware at Elon. Elon just got 40-burgered by some dude from Hofstra. And the game before, they got torched from 3. So that's really affecting their data. But as a whole, shot quality is saying not necessarily lucky. Delaware is down their big guy. I don't know if he'll play. Dylan Painter, 6'10", but they just went smaller without him, and I think they played just fine. Certainly their defense looked good. I mean, he's their highest usage player. This is not like, oh yeah, he's just some oaf they put in the paint. Like, this is a legitimate good player. But I think it was Jordan Majeski pointed out, when you take him out, you go a little smaller. And in a conference that runs the type of offenses that teams in this conference does, that actually matches up a little better because everyone tries to put Painter in pick and roll. Again, another plug to follow Jordan Majeski on Twitter and pay $10 for the year to get his matchup notes, which is all you really need to make your decisions. Southeastern, Louisiana at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Big turnover edge for Corpus Christi here. A lot of free throws. I could potentially buy this at a bigger number. The KenPom line is 6. So certainly not in a hurry to play that. But other data points are suggesting that 6 would be a little too high. The Beach at Northridge. I have the Beach by 10. One of the hottest teams in college basketball. So you're buying high. Something that kind of sucks with the way I do things. But, man, the bros that sit on the sidelines for all of these give up a lot of bets each year. Shot quality has them by 12. We're laying 6.5. Very similar to the Santa Clara situation, where you only have to lay a few possessions, but the spot is awful because next up for Beach is Santa Barbara, and I'm sure they're eager to get this one over with and on to the next one. Montana at Idaho. Shot quality discrepancy here. I favor the Idaho side. Shot quality favors Montana, so I'll pass. Pride check for Nebraska Omaha, who lost to Denver by 30 in this first game. But this Omaha defense is looking historically bad. They're giving up like 1.3 to 1.5 points per possession in the Summit League. And there's some good offensive teams in the Summit League, but I'm talking 10 games here. I'm not talking like a few matchups. 10 games of just getting torched. So showing Denver as a slight play and shot quality likes it too. It's just how many road favorites do I want to take on a card? That's go back to the intro. I'm like, man, there's a lot of stuff that's close. I really need to think through and prioritize what I want to do and not have too fishy of a card. Illinois, Chicago at Youngstown State. Um, all data points. Me, shot quality, Torvik, KenPom, all favor Youngstown. So the question here is there a big motivation change for UIC now that they can compete in the Horizon League tournament? Is that put some life into it? So all the analytics prefer the Penguins here. It's not much though. It's pretty thin. St. Thomas, South Dakota. I have South Dakota by 14. Shot quality says more like 3. The line is 10. So certainly stay away. And I had St. Thomas right early, and then I think they got seen a little bit by the conference. Like they were still fairly new, and they run a quirky offense, and then they play zero defense. And I think scouting's catching up with them. Northwestern State, Incarnate Word. Me and shot quality are flip-flopped here, and the line's in the middle of us, so I'd pass on that. Don't really want to go toe-to-toe with regression and luck. Now we got some big road favorites coming up, which I don't like to do that either. So imagine what this card looks like. So Wagner, I had by 13. They're favored by 8.5. They were 1 for 20 last game from 3 against Merrimack. So don't look too much into that. Obviously, they have a gaudy record, and people are going to say, like, oh, they lost to Merrimack last game. But, yeah, you go 1 for 20 from 3. That's going to happen. There are a lot of matchup edges here for Wagner. Pass on Northern Illinois and Akron. That leaves me with Bryant and Central Connecticut. I have 20. Shot quality has 18. Torvik 18. KenPom 15. And we're only laying 13 here. In the first game, Bryant won by 4. This is just a math issue where you have a roughly average team, Bryant slightly above average, playing a really bad team on their home court. Data just spits it out. They're like, hey, that's like 20-point game. Bryant's had a lot of single-digit wins this year, so enough concern there. But certainly a Paddy play. It's just, man, I don't like to lay points. I certainly don't like to lay lots of points. So this is subject to change because we have Santa Clara in a bad spot, laying only 5 on the road. Sam Houston State, not ideal matchup against Abilene Christian. No one's a great matchup against Abilene Christian. But I think if you can get past their press, you can absolutely beat them with Sam Houston offense. But you got to get past that press. And then Beach on the road right before the Santa Barbara game, laying points. So you're seeing a theme here of like, look, I don't love anything. I'm seeing value, but we either have issues with the spot or we have issues with the matchup. So a lot of games with warts, and I'm going to see how that sorts out. I'll likely make a Santa Clara bet tonight. I'm just not sure. So that is what I see for Thursday, February 17th. This is Cutting Down the Nets.